Today to talk about going live because, look, I'm going to be honest, this has not been a great week for me. In fact, I would put this week in the bottom of most weeks, even like just looking at like pandemic times, right? Like if you're following the news this week is particularly grim. I personally just have not been feeling it. I've been feeling down. I've been feeling depressed. I haven't had energy. This morning I had an atrial fibrillation, which is like a heart palpitation for like the first time in like almost a month. I found out I have to wear a CPAP machine. Like apparently I have sleep apnea. But I've got to wear this like thing over my face and try to sleep while it like forces air into my body. And I'm not into it. I am not into it. I got to tell you, man, look at and I can prove this has been sort of a bad week. You can look at the Kanban. This is my personal Danban over here. Okay. There should be like 3 times as many things in the done column. You see the things in that column that's called the pen right here. These are things that are hung up. And then to do, here are all these things I haven't even started yet. And if I'm being honest with myself, right, what is this? Like I was having this conversation earlier where it's like, okay, am I not being productive because I'm being depressed? Or am I depressed because I'm not being productive? You know, and there have been ways that I've kind of found to spur myself forward. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, right? I talked about like kind of productive procrastination. That's helped. Having slack in the rope, which is just another really big kind of principle mental model of mine, has really helped because it means, you know, I haven't been really under the gun. I have a lot of room to breathe in times like this. But what do you do about it? Right? It's like, what do you do about it? Because, you know, I can't just roll over and die. I got a company to run. I've got stuff to do, right? What do you do? So for me, the thing that I have found probably like most useful, most productive, right, of anything is just this kind of idea of forcing functions. Forcing functions are things that you just kind of got to show up to do. And typically what I've found is like when you get in these moods where you're just like not productive, you can't get started, you can't do anything, the sheer act of just doing something will typically dislodge something and get you moving a little bit, right? And in like many things, right, this stuff is worse at its worst when it's in our heads and we can't really quite get it out, right? So you can just kind of loosen the thing. So these lives, I just started doing this the other day. I had a conversation with my friend Chris Small, who was encouraging me to go live every day. And so that I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to make a commitment to going live every day. Now, am I going to make money from this? Probably not, right? Am I making sales from this? No, I don't even have anything you can buy. Yeah, I will have something you can buy soon, but you know, I don't have a thing. So why do it? Right. And the reason that I wanted to do it was because I can view that process of going live every day as a forcing function. It's a thing that will force me to function. Right. I've got to get on camera. And the thing I know about myself is like, okay, if I get on camera and if I get in front of an audience, which is kind of how I think about this, my energy level comes right up. Like before I was recording this, I'm basically like this, right? When I need to get in front of people, I can turn that on in a way that I'm unable to or unwilling to when I'm just by myself, right? So that's valuable in and of itself. The other thing is that having to come up with something that's valuable enough to say every day is my way of developing my own intellectual property, right? I talk about this in The Art of Mastery, which was a course that I just wrapped up in a kind of private Facebook group where I talk about, you know, one of the things that's so powerful about writing, and I write every week in the Better Questions email list, which you can get to betterquestionsemail.com. It's like 1 email a week, right? And so not a ton of writing. But one of the reasons that I do that is I'm like, okay, I'm committing to writing this one thing every week. And the process of writing shows me what I think. Right? Like I don't know necessarily what I think about things when I sit down to write, but when I go through the process of having to structure my thoughts and put it down on paper, really make sure that it makes sense and it follows through, all of a sudden my own beliefs are clearer to me. And that's incredibly valuable. And the whole reason that I have the email is because the email is a forcing function to write. And the forcing function to write is to figure out what I think. Similarly, going live in front of an audience and saying, hey, I've got to get in front of people and talk about something. I've got to have something valuable to say. Well, I better create something of value, right? This is one of the reasons when I'm making music, if I'm working on a record, one of the things I like to do is I will get the artwork done really early. So I'm working on a record now. It's like maybe 80% done. I had the artwork finished like a year ago. And I'll like print it out and I'll like have it and it will look, I'll sort of print it out and I'll be like, this is a real thing now. And because it's a real thing, I better make it good. Right? It's a forcing function. And we have this myth in our culture of willpower, and you got to just, you've got to have this like Nietzschean, like you're standing in front of the sea as it rages in front of you, and you're just like, like that's how you go through life. And it's just not realistic. I mean, maybe it is for you. For me, it isn't. Right? For me, I need the structure. For me, I need the thing that forces me to show up and be my best self. If no one makes me show up and be my best self, I don't show up as that guy. I show up as an easier guy to be. This, by the way, is probably the strongest argument I have for marriage, right? For parenthood. Forces you to show up in a different way. Now, maybe you don't need it. I needed that, right? Just like I need forcing functions in pretty much every part of my life in order to be the person I know I can be if I just show up. And I want that for you. I want you to show up as the person you're supposed to show up as. Not the person that you've shown up as so far. Not the person that people expect you to show up as. The person that you know you can show up as. Who's that person? And whatever you need to do, whatever structure you need to build, whatever forcing function you need to put in place to make yourself show up as that person, do it, and you will really appreciate it. I saw Jacob Olkus, who's a very smart dude, commented, which I very much appreciate. I love you. I hope you're having a good day. Go force yourself to have an even better day than you're having already.